Welcome to In Touch with Officer Dawn and Ray the DA. I'm your host, Jenna McNeil. The criminal justice system provides many safeguards for defendants that help prevent invalid punishments and convictions. These protections pose many challenges to law enforcement agencies during criminal prosecution. For example, a defendant's criminal history is concealed from a jury during trial. The prosecution must argue for permission to expose this history to the jury, and depending on the time frame and context of prior crimes, it may never be admitted until the jury's verdict is already in. Listen now as Officer Dawn and Ray discuss examples like this and how these safeguards can damage criminal prosecution. To hear full episodes, airtimes and stations are listed at the end of this video. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to In Touch Crime Beat. I'm Officer Dawn with Fayette Commonwealth's Attorney Ray Larson.
Out of jail, okay? Don't mess up.
And those are the people, those repeat offenders, the ones that go to prison. And
I say we're the #1 rated radio show in the whole country. Welcome to In Touch. I'm Officer Dawn with Fayette Commonwealth's Attorney Ray Larson. It's criminal justice news and views, and I got to tell you, you presented me with a motion I've never heard of before here. Talk to us about this motion here. I've never heard of this.
Well, I'm not going to talk much about it because it's pending. I just got it yesterday.
Let's use a generic motion then.
Okay.
Tell us about a generic motion.
It's called a motion for it's a petition for mandamus.
Which is what?
Well, that's when somebody got a ruling in a criminal case or in a case that they didn't like.
Okay.
And they want the judge to they appeal to another court to make the judge do what he said, what he overruled. Is that confusing?
Yeah. So
okay.
So
let's
say a judge overrules. Give me an example.
We got a motion to allow to disallow criminal convictions.
Okay. Motion to disallow criminal convictions.
Yeah, as evidence in a trial.
Okay.
Prior criminal conviction.
So if you're taking someone to trial, let's say I am a murderer, and you're taking me to trial for murder, and I have killed before.
Right.
So as a prosecutor, can you during that trial bring up the fact that I've killed before?
Yes, but a lot of it depends on when.
When?
Yeah, is it ancient history? And let's assume that it is ancient history, and the judge rules you cannot introduce it.
Okay. The judge tells the prosecutor, you know what? This guy killed a hitchhiker back in 1990. That has nothing to do with the fact that he's accused of killing his wife now. So you can't mention that he's been convicted of killing a hitchhiker.
And this is all.
A judge rules that.
Okay. Then you file. If we think the judge is wrong,
okay,
and we want to make the judge, force the judge to allow us to introduce that evidence, we file a petition for writ of mandamus, which requires him to do something. And if an appellate court says, "Nah, you screwed that up, judge, you got to let him introduce it," then that's what happens.
So this is basically an appeal.
During the pendency of a case.
Okay. Does that mean
so we got one of those in one of our cases. And
prosecutors don't do that very often.
No. Nobody does it very often. But
is it because the judge is right, or people are
maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends on the situation. Well, let me tell you, in one day, last weekend, we had 2 persistent felony offenders. They're called PFOs. And the PFO law in Kentucky is a lot like the 3 strikes law in other states. And we had 2 folks one day that one committed a robbery a violent crime, robbery in the 1st degree, and one of them committed a receiving stolen property. And these 2 outlaws had 16 prior criminal convictions each. And these are the kind of people that we're wanting to go after hard and do everything we can to get them off the streets. And the only way you do that is you put them in prison or jail for a while to give everybody a little relief.
These are individuals that have proven through past convictions, not just arrests, they've been through the conviction process, that they're basically hardened criminals. I mean, that's what the PFO
Career
calls for. They're
criminals.
Career criminals. Okay.
Now let me
Tune into the following stations to hear the full episode.